Mornings, everyone. I hope everyone is having a decent morning. So my name is Batandwa, and today I am going to be talking about a topic that I find really fascinating. So the idea of agents and super agents. Now, many of you would have looked at my topic and thought I was going to be talking about this guy or these guys, right? But no, I'm actually here to talk about problem solvers, right? And how we can put together problem solvers to create super problem solvers. Hence the idea of super agents, right? So problems. What do you mean by problems? Now, a problem can be anything. It can be running a business. It can be generating reports. It can be running a smart home, like Jesse said, right? So in computer science, there is this idea of divide and conquer, where even any problem, no matter how big it is or no matter how complex it is, we can break it down into small problems. And now we then go to each and every one of those small problems and we break them down even further. Now we continue doing this until we can't break the problem down into even smaller problems. Now, to find the solution to the big problem, we would first solve the very small problems down there and make our way up into the big problem, right? So, cool. Now that's great. Now, how can we use this idea to build super problem solvers? So what I want to show you is something I've been working on for the past few months. It's called Ganama VM. So Ganama is an AI orchestration platform that allows us to build AI teams and organizations. So what this means is you can have a business or an online store that is run by AI or have some of its functions run by AI. So that could be the marketing functions, for example, or the finance side, or whatever part of the business that you actually want AI to run. Or it could be you want this thing to actually run your smart home, connect your smart devices using the Meta protocol, for example, right? So how Kinema works is that you're going to have teams, and teams have agents. Now, coming back into the idea of divide and conquer is that you're going to get these teams to work together to solve the problem that you are trying to solve. So this is the Hello World example. So we have a team, it's called Hello Team, and it only has one agent, and the agent's name is Andy. Now, Andy is a salesperson for a small apple farm based in South Africa, right? And what Andy can do is speak to us. So using the services, we can give capabilities to Andy. So in this case, we're giving Andy the capability to speak to us. Now, this is just a Hello World example. One agent that's just going to talk to us, right? So you're going to notice that there's a folder here, but don't worry about this. It gets generated for you. I have mine generated already because I didn't want to generate it now in case it breaks. So it's there already, right? Now, just going to shut this down. Shut down, shut down. Okay, so before you have this folder, you will just have this, right? And to generate this folder, you will run Ganama. Obviously, that's after you've installed the CLI. Now, that's going to create this folder for you. Now, to run the orchestration itself, the collection of teams and agents and the applications they have access to is called an orchestration. Now, to run the orchestration, you would cd into the .ganama folder that was created, and then sudo docker compose up. What that is going to do is okay, shut it down. Come on. Okay, there we go. So our orchestration is running now, right? So that means if we go to our browser, we can actually talk to this. So we're going to talk to Andy, right? So if I come here and just refresh, the network is not connecting. Just give it a second. Okay, there we go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get it to listen, and I'm going to talk to it. So listen, how are you?
Hi there. I/M Andy, and I/M doing great. How
Okay.
can I help you today?
Stop listening. So what just happened here? So we have this Hello World agent. This is like a normal ChatGPT prompt, right? And we gave it the voice capability. Now, Ganama has this concept of applications and services. Applications are Docker images that expose or that implement a certain protocol that Ganama can connect to find out what those applications can do. And in our case, the application that we're using is this Docker image called Batandwa Ganama services. And the service that we want to use specifically from that application is the voice service. So yeah, so that's how applications work. And now applications have settings. So if I go to localhost 3002, you will see all these settings. Now, depending on the LLM that you're using, you will notice here that I'm using the Gemini Flash LLM or 1.5 Flash LLM. I could have used ChatGPT. I could have used Claude or Mistral or whatever you want to use, right? Cool. And then these are the settings for the voice service. Here we tell it the team that you want to, or the agent that you want to connect to. That's Andy. And Andy is under the Hello team, or it's under the Hello team, right? So that's Hello World. Now, what I want to show you is something even more interesting, right? Something that's even, how can I say, more fun to look at as a software developer, right? So what I have here is a database. Now, this is a database of sales. It has two tables, customers and sales, right? Customers obviously has our customers, their names and their customer IDs. And then sales has what you sold to those customers. So the number, remember we're selling apples, right? So here we have the number of units sold, that's like 600 apples. And the amount that they were sold for, that's like 500 rands, right? And the date when those apples were sold. So if I show you the second orchestration, a little bit more complex or a little bit more complicated than the previous one. But let me shut down this one first. Okay, so something similar, but now we have two teams. So we have the sales team and we have the management team. So the sales team generates reports or sales reports for management, and management forwards those reports to us, the user or the person who asked for the reports, right? Now, what I want to show here is that we can speak to management. Management is going to be like, I need information about sales. And what it's going to do is going to reach out to the sales team, specifically Nelly in the sales team, right? Nelly is going to say, okay, cool. I have access to the database that contains information about customers and sales. And it's going to go to that database, write a SQL query to actually pull the information, and then generate a report from that information, send it back to management. And management is going to be like, okay, cool, we get this. Now let's simplify it and say, speak it back to the user. So I hope it works. Okay, cool. Once again, we run Ganama to generate this folder. Remember, this folder will not be there initially. You're just going to be writing markdown files, right? And then WSL. So if you cd into the .ganama folder, try to start it up. That's down. Okay, shut it down first. Okay, it's running. So if I go back to my browser, go back to settings, you will now see that there is a database or database settings that I need to set. So there's a database user, the password, the server the database is running at, and the actual database name. And then obviously it's the API keys. Depending on the LLM that you'll be using, you're going to give the API keys. And the agent that you're going to be talking to is Anele, and Anele is under management. As you can see here, there's Anele, and he's under the management team. So if I ask him, let's first see if he's online. The internet again. Let's give it a few seconds. Okay, there we go. No. Come on. Okay. Okay, I think it's working now. So, okay, now we're going to be speaking to management. So if I say, hello, how are you?
I am doing well, thank you for asking.
Okay,
How can I assist you?
cool. Now you're going to ask about sales, and we'll see what it does. So if I say, how many customers did we have for the year 2023? So if we come back here, what you're
We
going to
had
see,
one unique customer in 2023.
let me check the response. We had one unique customer in 2023. Now this is true because if I go to the database, there's only one customer that actually placed an order with us, right? So what happened here? So if I come back here, this is still a bit raw. I'll try to make it better. You can see the SQL query. So we spoke to management, and management was like, okay, we need information about sales. And what it did, it messaged another agent, and that agent was Nelly under the sales team, right? Now, Nelly was like, okay, cool. You want information about sales? I'll reach out to the database, run a SQL query, which is here. And the SQL query that it ran is this one. No, not this one here. Select current distinct salty customer, 2023, and then less than January or 1st of Jan 2024. So that's like 2023 customers, right? So it got information, or it got a response from the database, and it messaged the management agent. So it got the response from the database, and then it sent a message to management saying, this is the customer that you're looking for. And management was like, okay, cool. I'll speak to the user, which is me in this case, and say, this is what you told me. And that's what we actually got. Now, to show you how this works with the markdown files, we have the same thing as, so this is management. Management has access to the voice service, so it can speak to us, right? Here, this is like a normal ChatGPT prompt or whatever you want to call it. But the most important thing here, you tell it what it is, right? You tell it what it should do, and you also tell it the services it has access to, right? So just because you provide the services here doesn't mean it knows how to use them. Same thing with Nelly here. So you tell it what it is, you tell it what it should do, and you tell it how to use the services it has available to actually query information. So here we tell it about the database, the structure for a database. It has a customers table with a customer ID and customer name columns. And we also have a sales table with these 5 columns, and give it more information about the database and yada, yada. And then here we tell it some of the things that we don't want it to do when it comes to the database. And not this one here. And if we keep scrolling down, we tell it that it should always provide a response to management. So whatever information it gets to the database, it should not just forget about it. And it should always try to send it up to management, right? So yeah, that is Ganama, right? Now, why do I care about this? So if I come back to my slide, why do I care about this, right? So my friend and I have this idea that we can build an online store that is run entirely by agents. Now, this might be a bit of dreaming, right? Or actually, it might be dreaming, but we believe it's possible. And personally, I believe Ganama is a step in the right direction to realizing something like that. So yeah, and obviously the two of us are just gonna tap the cards. And now people have different problems, right? My problem was to try to build something that can run an online store. Your problem could be different. It could be to run a smart home, for example, or whatever you want to do, right? But if you feel like you need a team of agents working together to actually solve your problem, I would say do check this thing out on GitHub. Leave some comments, tell me what you think. Feel free to fix whatever you want to fix. And yeah, that's what I'm building. Thank you.